Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy this video, we invite those of you who haven't yet done so, to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification icon, to be notified when the next one is uploaded. We appreciate all comments, whether positive or negative, because it is very important to ventilate both sides of any issue. All we ask is that you observe the YouTube community guidelines. We'd like to urge those of you who haven't yet done so, to sign our online petition for an inquiry into the BBC and Channel 4's coverage of Lewis Hamilton and Abu Dhabi. A link has been provided in the description. If you are on X, then please repost our tweet. Thank you. In today's video, we will be revealing evidence of the pro-Trump British media hating on Sir Lewis on the eve of the US Grand Prix. Our evidence, which includes clips of the Formula One homepages of the BBC, Sky UK, Sky Italy and Sky Germany, all recorded at the same time, show conclusively that the British media are hating on Sir Lewis because of his race. We have selected Sky Italy and Sky Germany for ease of comparison against Sky UK, and because Sir Lewis is moving to Ferrari from Mercedes. By way of a brief background, Sir Lewis's transfer from Mercedes to Ferrari was record-breaking on so many levels, both on and off the track. On track, it was the biggest transfer ever in the history of the sport, and off track, it generated the biggest spike ever in the Ferrari share price of over 10%, which equated to just under $7 billion, and placed Ferrari's share value above that of Mercedes, for the first time ever. As you can expect, Italy has been buzzing since the transfer was announced. Ticket sales went through the roof as both Italian races this season sold out for the first time since the golden days of Michael Schumacher. Sky Italy's F1 coverage has been littered with constant references to Sir Lewis and his highly anticipated arrival at Maranello. It is therefore not surprising to find that they have done yet another feature on the 10-month-old transfer. And as the season is ending with yet another procession to yet another contrived title for Crashtappen, public interest in Sir Lewis's arrival at Maranello is building up to a crescendo. Although you wouldn't know any of this from the UK coverage of Sir Lewis. Moving on to Germany. As we showed you in our previous video, as fortunes were rising at Ferrari, they were dipping across the way in Germany. The Mercedes share value dipped shortly after the announcement of Sir Lewis's departure, and the corresponding hike in the Ferrari price led to them overtaking Mercedes in market valuation. Given that Mercedes is the home of Michael Schumacher, the former GOAT, who has been surpassed by Sir Lewis, it is understandable that a number of Germans may be feeling some type of way about their national hero being surpassed by a black Brit, even if he is driving a Merc. But it should be noted that Michael being German did not stop the Italians from celebrating his success at Ferrari, and forging his legacy at Ferrari did not stop the Germans from worshipping Schumacher. The German adoration of Michael is so strong, that at the time of our review, media attention was focused on his son Mick's possible return to F1, as the second driver for Audi in 2025. For those who may not be aware, Mick is one of the Mercedes reserve drivers, who Toto Wolff overlooked in favor of Kimi Antonelli, Sir Lewis's replacement, who unfortunately crashed out within seconds of his debut, in front of his Italian home fans. Nevertheless, it is an indication that the Germans cherish their national hero so much that hope repeatedly springs eternal in his son. We wish Mick all the best, and can only wonder why the British media do not hold the black British champion that has broken every of his father's significant records in similarly high regard. If Mick can get such coverage just for the possibility that he could be the second driver for another German car manufacturer, one can only imagine the reaction should he win 7 world titles like his father. It is not surprising that the only reference to Sir Lewis on the Sky Germany homepage is linked to depression. One can only imagine that depression is a topic that resonates deeply with a nation that is so desperate to pull itself out of it, that they are getting overly excited about the possibility of a Mercedes reserve driver becoming Audi's second driver, even though everybody knows that given that the rivalry between the two manufacturers is just as heated as that between us and Liverpool, hell would freeze over before Audi would employ a Mercedes reserve driver. But hey, anything to shake off depression, and once again, good luck to Mick. It is also reasonable to expect references to Crashtappen, but notably there is no direct reference to his so-called title challenger, or the trumped-up title race narrative that the UK media are trying so desperately to sell. So, in Germany, where the Germans are salty about Sir Lewis usurping Schumacher's greatness, even though the Italians did not display the same energy towards Michael, Sir Lewis gets a mention, but the supposed title challenger, according to some in the UK, does not. Having seen the lie of the land in Italy and Germany, we turn now to Sir Lewis's home country. It is only fitting that we start with Sky UK, who led as usual with a feature on Crashtappen, their much-touted Great White Hope, who while ably assisted in racing through the history books to surpass Sir Lewis's records, has already been recognised as the greatest of all time. The fact that the British media is not cherishing Sir Lewis's legacy, the way the Germans are doing with Michael's, can only be down to the way the Black Briton buttons his shirt. Sky UK followed up their article on Crashtappen, with a feature on the so-called title race between Max and Lando, that Italy and Germany appear to have missed. Surprisingly, the third feature on the Sky UK homepage is Schumacher's possible second seat in 2025. So, in the UK, even Schumacher's son has a higher profile than Sir Lewis during Black History Month. Never mind, let us move on. Amidst several articles dedicated to Max and Lando, Sky UK finds space to dedicate articles to other drivers as well, including Leclerc, Perez, Bottas and Alonso. Given that they have already acknowledged Crashtappen as the greatest of all time, it is not surprising that our good friend Martin Brundle made time to acknowledge that Spoonstappen's busy mate has stepped up F1's ladder of greatness, even before he has won his first world title. Somewhat reminiscent of how he and the British media built Crashtappen up before they handed him Sir Lewis's eighth. It would appear that greatness is now being bestowed upon Formula One drivers by the media, and not by the racetrack. I guess all you have to do, to be classified as great nowadays, is to identify as one, or be anointed by the media. But critically, it speaks volumes that there is no thumbnail dedicated to Sir Lewis on the Sky UK homepage, regardless of whether it is Black History Month or not. Well, let's hop across to the non-commercial and resolutely independent BBC, where we find the feature article is about Audi's imminent 2025 arrival, followed by the obligatory defence of Crashtappen. Astonishingly, on this occasion the BBC is defending Crashtappen's right to swear. I think I'll leave that one to you guys in the comment section, because words fail me. It's telling that with everything going on in F1 today, the BBC is most pressed about Crashtappen's right to swear. However, they did find time to dedicate a few rather unconvincing segments to promoting the fake title race between Crashtappen and his lapdog. But what was particularly striking, and which we will continue to delve further into in subsequent videos here, and, on our newly launched sister channel FNC, was that the BBC also found time to throw some shade at the Prime Minister. A link to FNC is provided in the description. If anyone can recall any instance in which the BBC Sport section not limited to F1, found time to throw shade at Boris or any other Tory Prime Minister, do let us know in the comment section. The Malone-friendly BBC Sport F1, smearing the Labour Prime Minister, reaffirms our conclusion that they are firmly in the tank for the US media mogul. Lisa Nandy, the Culture Secretary, should be asking the BBC some tough questions. Nevertheless, back to Sir Lewis, Malone's other favourite target, we find no thumbnail of him on the BBC homepage either. The only references to him are secondary ones, made by other drivers, like the great Lando Norris, and the next great white British hope, who would be working with Sir Lewis at Ferrari next season. So, folks, it is clear that Sir Lewis is not as cherished by the UK media, as he is by the Italians, or as Schumacher is by the Germans. It is also clear that while the British media have gone to extreme lengths to minimise any reference to him at all, They are doing everything they can to boost any white driver regardless of nationality. Now, why do you think that is?